Barack Obama, the Nobel Peace Prize winner, hailed as a global symbol of hope. His eloquent speeches and charismatic presence inspired millions around the world. He was seen as a beacon of change, a leader who could bridge divides and bring about a new era of diplomacy and peace. But as with many leaders, the reality of his legacy is far more complex and multifaceted than the image presented to the public. But behind the curtain of diplomacy lies a darker legacy. The decisions made in the shadows, away from the public eye, often tell a different story. These clandestine operations and secretive meetings shaped policies that had far-reaching consequences, many of which remain controversial to this day. Under his administration, drone strikes expanded exponentially. These unmanned aerial vehicles became a cornerstone of his counterterrorism strategy, touted as a precise and effective means of eliminating threats. However, the reality on the ground was often far from the clean surgical strikes portrayed in official narratives. Over 500 strikes across Pakistan, Yemen, and Somalia, many targeting civilians. These regions, already fraught with instability, saw an increase in violence and fear. The collateral damage was significant, with many innocent lives caught in the crossfire. The human cost of these operations is a stark reminder of the complexities of modern warfare. Collateral damage, over 1,000 innocent lives lost, families torn apart, communities devastated, and a generation growing up in the shadow of drones. The psychological impact on survivors and witnesses is profound, leaving scars that may never heal. Experts argue these attacks violated international law. The principles of sovereignty and human rights were often overlooked in the pursuit of security. Legal scholars and human rights organizations have called for greater accountability and transparency in the use of drone warfare. The UN condemned the strikes, calling them extrajudicial killings. These actions, they argued, undermined international norms and set a dangerous precedent for future conflicts. The global community remains divided on the ethical and legal implications of such tactics. Is this justice or unchecked power? The balance between security and liberty is a delicate one, and the use of drones has tipped the scales in favor of the former. Critics argue that this shift has eroded fundamental freedoms and set a troubling standard for state behavior. Libya, once stable, now a war-torn nation. The intervention, initially framed as a humanitarian effort, quickly spiraled into chaos. The power vacuum left in the wake of Gaddafi's fall has been filled by warring factions and extremist groups, plunging the country into prolonged conflict. Obama's intervention left the country in ruins, opening the gates for extremist groups like ISIS. The rise of these groups has had a destabilizing effect not only on Libya but on the entire region, contributing to a cycle of violence and displacement. And in Syria, a proxy war fueled devastation with millions displaced. The conflict, exacerbated by international involvement, has created one of the worst humanitarian crises of our time. The images of refugees fleeing their homes and the destruction of ancient cities are a testament to the war's enduring impact. And what about Guantanamo? Promised closure, but detainees remained. Torture allegations persisted. Despite initial pledges to shut down the infamous detention center, it remains operational, symbolizing the ongoing struggle between national security and human rights. Was accountability ever part of the plan? The lack of transparency and oversight has led to widespread criticism and calls for reform. The question of who is held responsible for these actions remains a contentious issue. This is the legacy we don't talk about. The narrative of hope and change often overshadows the more controversial aspects of Obama's presidency. The stories of those affected by these policies are frequently left out of the mainstream discourse. Drone strikes, destabilized nations, and broken promises. These elements form a part of the complex tapestry of Obama's legacy. The impact of these actions continues to be felt around the world, raising important questions about the true cost of leadership. Is the narrative of hope hiding a trail of destruction? Truth matters. Share your thoughts below. As we reflect on the past, it's crucial to consider all facets of history, not just the ones that fit a convenient narrative. Follow for more untold stories. Stay informed, stay critical, and always seek the truth.